Hi everybody, this is Ruth Royal from Youth Pledge for Employers, and I'm so pleased to have Carly Brown, General Manager from Wright Training Services here today to talk to us. Hi Carly, nice to see you.
Hi, nice to meet you all. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, I'm really keen to see your presentation that I know that you've got for us. So
Yeah,
I'll sort of step back and let you kick us off with that.
yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. I'm going to talk you through a quick presentation today regarding Wright Training Services and the sort of things that we do and how we support industries going forward. So let's get going. So I'll just do a quick introduction. My name's Carly Brown, and I'm the General Manager of Wright Training Services. Now I'll talk to you about who we are, what we do, and who we work for, our training profile and competence, and skills for industry. And then we'll do a little question and answer afterwards. So my name's Carly, as I said previous. I've been working for the company now for 2 years. I started off as a business coordinator, just doing general administrative support. And since then we sort of worked our way up and I've become the general manager now. I was newly appointed around 2 weeks ago, which is fantastic, really exciting news. And I've got a background predominantly in human resources, which is formerly known as HR. And I used to do administrative support and PA work for the UK military. So I've had a background in administrative support the whole way through, and now I'm in the training company. So I'll just move on to a little bit about who we are as a company. So who we are, this is our team right now. So we've got Carl, who's the managing director, and he's at the far left-hand corner. We've got myself, the general manager. Then we've got Brian at the front left-hand corner. He is the training manager. And then we've got Emma, she's our office assistant just at the front right. And that's our small SME team, which is a small local business. And we predominantly run everything health and safety wise from our platform in Lowestoft. So a little bit about what we do then. I'm going to talk to you about the 3 main service groups of the company, which are predominantly health and safety training and consultancy services. We've got machinery and plant training and asbestos surveys and training. Now, all of our courses are predominantly accredited courses. So machinery and plant training is accredited by a company called ITSA. And we've got also under that sort of remit, we've got our ECITB accreditation, and that is for the CCNSG course, which is predominantly for construction engineering sort of background. We've then got health and safety training courses, which we would do a wide variety of training from health and safety awareness, noise awareness, manual handling, right through to asbestos awareness, which would also fall under the bracket of asbestos surveys and training. Carl predominantly does the asbestos surveys himself, and he will also, as I said earlier, train in the asbestos awareness courses. One of our main training courses that we offer is a Slinger, Banksman and a HIAB course. Slinger Banksman training is actually accredited to our LEA accreditation, which is the Lifting Engineers Association. And that's predominantly for lifting types of machinery, or it can be, as you can see on the presentation, lifting right through from a tyre, right through to a big sort of container onto a ship or anything like that. So all useful things that you will need in sort of everyday training life. Okay, and I'm just going to talk you through a little bit about who we do the work for, or more to the point, who we don't work for at this point. So as you can see from the images, these are sort of the clientele that we work for. We work for construction companies, offshore wind and renewable sectors, and the marine maritime sectors, as well as offshore oil and gas sectors, and of course local companies for general health and safety. So I'll just break that down a little bit for you. Construction is basically local construction firms, that may be builders, etc. Currently, we're doing the Gullwing project in Lowestoft, so they would be based under our construction sort of grouping. We've got offshore wind and renewables. Again, for example, we've got CTV, which is an acronym for crew transfer vessel companies. those sort of vessels, they go out to the turbines and they drop off the wind turbine technicians to do their job. We've then got marine maritime, should I say, and they're vessel operators. They're also, we can categorise that as shipyards and fisheries. We then got the offshore oil and gas sector, which is offshore rig workers and operators. And again, our local companies, they're just looking for general health and safety courses on their premises or offices. We also offer them fire risk assessments, first aid, fire warden, that sort of thing, really. Okay. And then we've got our trainer profile and competence. So us, when we're looking for general trainers to come and join our team, we're looking for certain sort of things. So we're looking for knowledge, experience and understanding of subject matter. This is super important to us because without these points, we don't get far with trainers. So we're looking for plenty of knowledge relating to the course, and 9 times out of 10, this is mostly gained through hands-on experience. General health and safety knowledge, which is a massively important thing for us as we are running a health and safety company. We're looking for subject matter qualification and recertification. So for example, on the PowerPoint, you can see Brian in the top right-hand corner. He was recertified to our ITSAR accreditation to be able to then certify forklift training and mobile plant related training. Myself down on the bottom, I was actually qualified to be a first aid trainer for our training area. So of course, we're still training our instructors and making sure that we are up to date with our training just as much as we're training our delegates. And we're looking for certified trainers by accrediting bodies, again, by whether that's from ITSAR, LEA or ECITB. We're then looking for training skills, which is super important. We're looking for train the trainer qualifications, which again, all our trainers should have a trainer qualification. This just means that they understand the ways to train and that they can communicate perfectly with our delegates to ensure the courses get around to them perfectly. We're looking for fantastic communication skills, because without communication skills, again, our trainers won't be able to relay our training courses over to our delegates correctly. And we're looking for people skills, super important. And there's always more to learn for us, regardless to if we are a delegate ourselves or a trainer. Every day is actually a school day. Okay, so I'm just going to move on then for skills for industry here. So we work with, as I said earlier, construction, offshore wind renewables and offshore oil and gas and marine maritime, and local companies. So I'll break that down. So construction will mainly look for mobile plant training, CCNSG training, which again an acronym, Client Contractor National Safety Group. That will allow them to go on construction sites such as Sizewell B, Sizewell A and upcoming Sizewell C. And they will also probably look for slinger and banksman training, also known as slinger signaller. Now this will be able to, as I say, lift loads, and of course a banksman or a signaller, will be able to signal where the load is going safely and correctly. If we're looking at the offshore wind renewables and offshore oil and gas and marine maritime, we're looking at slinging and rigging, which is similar to the slinger and signaller. Again, on the offshore oil rigs, and you're slinging up large loads ready to go onto rigs or vessels, etc. We've got banksmen. Again, everyone will need a banksman. They are the guys looking out for where the load has to be landed or where it's got to be moved to, or the guys who are actually on the cranes, they're slinging the loads. Working at height is a super important one. A lot of offshore workers and rig workers will be working from platforms. So of course they need their working at height training to qualify that they can do that safely. Confined space, again, maritime, marine maritime and the offshore guys, they'll be in small tight spaces. You'll often find turbine technicians are at the very top of the turbines, and they will be looking at confined spaces where they will need to know how to work their way out of situations. You've got local companies that will predominantly look for consultancy services. Again, we've got fire risk assessments, COSH assessments, PURE assessments, anything related to health and safety. You've got first aid at work. We like to make sure that nearly every company around us has at least one first aider in the building. Manual handling is an everyday training course that should be done within local companies. Slips, trips and falls. Of course, self-explanatory, any slips that you could have in the workplace, a trip or a fall hazard. We like to train and make sure that the local companies are safely working alongside, and ladder training. They're predominantly our main industries and the key skills that our industries are looking for. We deliver all these training, whether it's on-site or off-site, at our training facility in Lowestoft. Do you guys have any questions at all?
Oh, Carly, that was brilliant. And talk about every day being a school day, because I had never heard of slinging and rigging before. So that was really interesting to hear about all these different job roles.
To be honest, I hadn't heard of many before I started in training services, so I've learned a lot along the 2 years that I've been here too.
I was like, oh, slinging and rigging, and then you explained about what that's like, you know, getting the loads up onto things to get to the rigs. That was really interesting. It seems to me that probably there's quite a lot of variety in terms of what you do.
Absolutely.
Could you talk us through a sort of, if there is one, a sort of average Carly day about what you do in your job as general manager?
Yeah, sure. So an average day as the general manager at Wright Training Services. Wow, it can be full on and busy. I can be doing things from taking calls in the morning from our clients to booking them on courses in the afternoon. While we have 2 or 3 training courses going on. So while the courses are going on, I have to make sure that our trainers are fully equipped with everything they need. Course certificates are locked away and course question papers are locked away until needed. So those will then need to be rung out at the right time. Even down to the silliest things of going to get the delegates' lunches at lunchtime, right up till the end of the day where we're shutting down, making sure the diary is completely full. We've got all delegates and clients, they're booked onto the courses, they've got their joining instructions, and right down to the smallest details of cleaning the toilets and changing rooms.
I bet that, and that seems to me that because you've got such a breadth of things to do, I bet that makes your job really interesting. But
absolutely,
you probably also need like a breadth of different skills to do all those things. So tell us a bit about some of the skills that you think that you need to do your job.
Absolutely. I would say key skills for my job especially are communication skills as an absolute paramount.
Yeah.
I also need organizational skills for sure. When you're trying to juggle the calendar and the diaries and making sure you've got a list of things to do and they are done by the end of the day, that's absolutely the top of the list there. I'd sort of say I've specifically got HR qualifications, and that does help in my role purely because you are working with sometimes clients that can be difficult or clients that need more sort of help when they're within their training courses. So it does help to have a HR background. Absolutely. Yeah.
I bet as well, like in terms of being organised, it seems to me that it's not just about being able to have, you know, sort of, you know, the papers ready for somebody in a room. You probably have to do quite a lot of prioritization as well through the day about what should be done next.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. You have to prioritize. I live by a list. I have the lists on my whiteboard. I have the lists next to me. I have the lists on my computer. If I don't have the smaller jobs sort of towards the end and the larger jobs are at the top, if the larger jobs aren't done, I then have to delegate the smaller jobs out to my office assistant, Emma, which thank God she's here. She's an absolute godsend. And you have to prioritize on what needs to be done for that day, for that course. Then you're looking at the next day, what needs to be done ready for that course the next day, so that you are sort of smooth running at the end of the day, ready for the next day.
Do you think as well, I mean, obviously, I guess for the trainers, they obviously need very specific skills and experience, so it might not be a suitable role for somebody starting out in their job, but something further, you know, sort of further down the line.
Oh, for sure.
In terms of like your sort of your administration assistant that you were talking about, what sort of that perhaps is more of an entry point into the organisation, what sort of skills are you looking for from people who are wanting to join sort of Carl Wright training at perhaps that, you know, that sort of
at an entry level?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's no problem. At an entry level, I look for sort of grades A to C or A to D, a general sort of what any sort of entry level requirement would be. I also look for good communication skills, again, and organisation, but just generally a good team fit. I believe that we can train anyone to know any sort of role as long as they're a good team fit and they've sort of got the minor background, general A to D, maths and English.
Yeah, literacy and numeracy, it's something that come out in terms of talking to all the employers, that it is such a key thing for different jobs, isn't it, where you need to be able to have those skills to do well.
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly writing emails out to clients, you know, newsletters and things like that, even down to the question papers and the actual course presentations itself. So it's paramount that our English is on top form.
If you were sort of really just to end on, Carly, if you were to go back and to speak to your younger self, starting out on your career journey, because it sounds like you've gone through several different things, you've got your HR qualification, you've had different experiences before joining Carl Wright training a couple of years ago. What a piece of advice would you give to young Carly about your career?
That's a really good question. I think the advice that I would give is to just don't stress too much about what you want. Just write it down on a bit of paper, everything that you sort of think that you're looking for in life, and then sort of go in one direction. Don't flip from one to the other. When I first started out, I actually left school and went to college and went to do childcare. I was fixated on childcare. I got to college and it was absolutely not the thing for me. It really wasn't, which was fine. No stress. It was absolutely fine. But I think you've really just got to sit down, have a look, and just don't stress about it too much.
That's great advice. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been absolutely lovely to talk to you today.
Oh, thank you so much, Ruth. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.